is to bring you your next favorite band.
Thanks for having us. This is a very cool show.
Yeah, so through many iterations, and we finally landed on the weirdest one by far.
Yeah, Simple of Feelings, and boom, you got a sound.
Yeah.
I remember this one time, I'd been writing some songs, and I went out. I'm just going right in on this story. I went out, and so I was.
The story's longer than the song itself. We'll go ahead and play it.
And listen, it's going to be everybody's favorite band. Welcome to your next favorite band. That's both the show title and our promise to you. We here at Stereophilia Studio are tireless in our pursuit of finding incredible, genre-defiant artists who are either a hot, up-and-coming band or a group that has been delivering for years but have flown under the radar. Tonight we have alt-folk rockers from Chicago, the Darling Sons. Each month, we will bring you live streams, audio podcasts, and perhaps even a live concert where you can listen to the stories and hear the music of artists personally curated by us based on what we feel will be worthy of your time. Be sure to subscribe and tune in to each episode because the possibilities are endless and you never know who will be your next favorite band. Hello, everyone. Philip Reese here, your host.
And I'm David Moore, the co-host of Your Next Favorite Band.
And this is
Your Next Favorite Band.
I just love when you do that.
So anyway, I get really close to the microphone when I do that.
Yeah, we definitely need some voice modulation.
Little James Earl Jones moment.
It would be. It would be.
We could get him. We could totally book him.
Oh yeah, we're practically there.
Yeah. He's available.
So anyway, here we are. Yet another week.
One more week, one more band, and this week
we have the Darling Sons.
Very exciting.
They did Musikfest and created those magic moments that we love.
Correct. And they were there under a special program, which we'll talk about.
Absolutely. I would love to hear how that all went down. But
yeah.
Before we get into that, I just kind of wanted to share. Wanted to remind everybody we have a Spotify playlist that's called the Vital 3. And so there was a Vital 3 for season 1, and now there's one for season 2. And basically, we just kind of grab 3 songs from every band that we're interviewing, and we put it out there. So in case you want to listen to it before the show or after you listen to the interview, but on Spotify, if you look up the Your Next Favorite Band Spotify channel, I guess. Is that what it's called? YouTube channel. I don't know if it's a Spotify channel. Anyway, so out there is a couple different cool playlists that we try and put out there to kind of, again, continue to curate whatever this is all about. But everyone who we bring on, we put out 3 songs of theirs that we think are the ones that are worth checking into to kind of get into the mood. And so, it's just one of those things where, you just never know who these, next favorite bands might be. Unless you're already familiar with them, then fantastic. And you can even tell us that we picked the wrong 3. I would love to hear that. But
sure. I mean, we're wide open to that kind of feedback. That's the best kind of feedback.
That's exactly right. Tell us where we stink. That's what I would love to hear.
Tell us where we did some good too. I mean, come on, we need a little positive reinforcement. We're sort of like kindergartners sometimes.
Correct. That is absolutely true. And we have a basically, no joke. The entire rest of the calendar year is full. Breaking news. The next people we book will be for January. How about that?
That's exciting.
Yeah, it's super cool. So we have the Tuesday 6:30 set for the rest of the year. As obviously some time off there for holidays, but I don't want to. Obviously, things can happen and change, but I figure we could preview October.
Okay, let's talk about that.
Let's talk about October. So October has Marielle Craft.
Wonderful.
March 4th.
That's a totally different take than Marielle Craft.
Right, Marielle Craft, one person. March 4th, I think.
85,000.
14 people. So that's cool. The Family Crest.
Okay.
And then I think, who's that last one? Anyway, let's just stop there, because I also hate to go too far into the future, because it's things can change. Like,
Well,
some
sure.
things.
You never know exactly when someone might be listening to this too. So there's also that where they can be like, okay, cool.
Right. Right.
All I know is at the end of October it gets the best because that's when my birthday is. So that's really where everyone has to sort of coordinate things.
Yeah, there's definitely that. And then the other part too is that we had thought the pattern would be 2 musicians per month, something that was like music adjacent, where it was like an organization that supports the music industry, and then you and I just kind of bantering, and that would be the 4 episodes: 2 musicians, 1 that was like supporting the industry, and then 1 just us kind of recapping some stuff. But there's just so much good stuff going on out there that we were just like, let's book it, let's get it out there, let's make this stuff happen. So so that's kind of what we did for October, is we were like, let's just make it all musicians. So that's what we did there. And then November has some of those, kind of the mixture of stuff. And then as we get into December, it gets to be a little bit more festive. So that's just, again, a little preview there.
I'm looking forward to all of it.
That's super fun. Anyway, so let's get into, again, the main event here. We have the Darling Sons. They're from Chicago. And as we often do, we're going to play a little music by them so that you can get into the mood. And again, if maybe you don't know it, this is what they sound like. So here is their song called Raspberry Homecoming, which is an early song for them. This is off one of their earlier albums. And we're going to definitely get into more of their current stuff as well. But take a listen to this. This is definitely what caught our ears.
I know you've been happier, I've been too. We got so much wasted space in the other room. We came all this way just to be ashamed. Well, I'm coming home, baby. Don't you run away, don't you run away.
So you can hear kind of like this. Obviously, there's violin being played, some keyboards, great vocals, and that's how they get into their genre that somewhat gets associated with them, is this like Americana folk, but also alt rock. And the only thing I can tell you is the more you listen to them, the more that it's all of that and then more. So let's start bringing them all in here. Let's bring in Rob and John.
Hey.
Charlie and Zach. So we've got 4 of the 5 band members.
Hey, how's it going?
Evening, fellas. How are you all?
Good.
How you doing?
Excellent. And we should point out we don't have Lindsey tonight, the violin player, and she does other instruments as well. But we definitely want to point out the fact of what she brings to the table as well, as we try to chat about all this stuff.
Definitely. Should have brought a picture of her or something. Kind of like
exactly.
We just hold that up on occasion, just for good measure.
Exactly. So,
we'll put it on the TV screen behind Charlie.
Right. And that is an earlier song, and in fact, different band members there. So something I definitely wanted to kind of point out was there was a change there, and we might be wanting to spend a couple moments in that in a few seconds. But the current band is different than what that setup was. But I think the feeling and the sound is that same kind of spirit of what you guys bring to the stage.
Definitely. Yeah. I think we still try to capture that same kind of vibe overall. It's I don't know. It's interesting. A lot of people have different names for whatever genre it is, but we have we just like kind of creating whatever sounds good to us and whatever we're playing. Yeah.
And we typically avoid that.
Sometimes, they're just to sell things versus to let people like actually enjoy the music.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, we definitely try to avoid it because it puts somebody in a mindset that maybe either limits their ability to be interested or creates an expectation that it shouldn't. And so a lot of times, and again, people who have listened probably are tired of this, but we just always say the people we're bringing on are in the excellent genre. So that's the one that we try to do.
Sure. Totally.
So we want to put you in that. And I do think I want to take 1 second to kind of just say, like, this is exactly what I think the show is about. Like the sound you bring and the quality of songwriting and performance and just this, why haven't I heard this before kind of feeling when you go listen to it is what I really want this show to be about. Like, friends of mine who listen to this should be saying to themselves, wow, like, I can't believe they're not more popular. And I really do mean that. Like, for you all, like, when I listen to what you guys bring to the stage and to people's ears, I just think it's fantastic. I really do.
Thank you so much. That means a lot. We appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. And so what we typically start with is just kind of like some of that history, backstory and such. And so if I understand it right, it kind of stems, Rob, from you and John went to high school together. Is that right?
Yeah, we did go to high school together. We weren't really friends or anything in high school, but yeah, a little later on down the line, early 20s, we kind of met up after a show. I played a solo show in our hometown, and yeah, I wanted to put a band together, and he played drums, so I called up John, and we started, and he played drums at the time, and then yeah, it kind of went from there.
Yeah. So let's even take a second to let all four of you kind of introduce yourself. So Rob Krause, your guitar and vocals. And in this moment, after high school, you go to Florida from Chicago. So all of you are from Chicago, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And so you go to Florida and then come back for a solo show. And that's where you reconnect with John.
Yeah, I moved back, and I couldn't stay away, and then played just started to get reintegrated in the scene up here and getting shows and stuff like that, and that's when I met John, met John at a show, and we kind of rekindled, and then yeah, same thing. I mean, met everybody pretty much that way in this crew. So
sure.
Yeah.
And then John, do you want to introduce yourself and kind of share some of how that all kind of went down?
Sure. So currently in the band, I play guitar and synth, and do some backup vocals. But yeah, I had seen that Rob was back in town, and he was playing a solo set, and I was like, oh, I haven't seen Rob in years, so I'll go listen. And he sounded great. And yeah, after the show, he was like, I remember you played drums, right? Or and so we kind of reconnected, started practicing, and then yeah, at some point in there, it just ended up being we wanted to add a lead guitar, and we were trying to figure out who, and Rob liked the way I played guitar, so we thought it was easier to find a different drummer.
So that's actually, why don't we just move over to Charlie then? So Charlie, you're the new drummer. Not new, but new in that moment. Let's even just take a moment to talk about that. So 2017-ish, you guys are forming that, and that's back when that other song is from. And then you guys kind of go through a retool at that point.
Yeah, I think we wrote that came out on an album that came out I think early 2019, and that album had a different drummer on it and a different bass player on it, and they ended up moving, different situations, and then
sure,
that's kind of when we all connected. Early 2019, that's when we got with Charlie, and then Zach was a little bit later, but yeah.
And that first full length is called Midnight Feelings, right?
Correct. Yeah.
So then, Charlie, you come in and join the band. Tell us about yourself.
Yeah, just a drummer in Chicago. Ran into Rob several times for a couple years, and been playing music and everything. And then saw when he started. I think it was pretty much Raspberry Homecoming, seeing video and thinking like, well, he's up to some really good stuff now. Not too long thereafter, I saw him mentioning on social media about stuff because those fellows were moving or whatever. So yeah, so then I hit him up and said, hey, you know, maybe we should do that.
Very cool. Very cool. And then we have Zach on bass, and then in like tell us about your kind of story and journey with the band.
Sure. So I moved to Chicago from Michigan, Rockford, Michigan, and I could not get a gig to save my life. I could not find anyone to play with. So out of a very deep frustration, I drove all the way out to the suburbs for this open jazz jam that Charlie just happened to be hosting. And Charlie's an incredible drummer, if you've ever seen him. So I decided I'm going to follow him wherever he goes. And brought me to Naperville, which is still quite a hike from where I live, but I've been playing with these guys for I don't know how many years now, since 2019.
Sure.
And I haven't looked back. It's been a great ride.
Definitely.
That's amazing. And so the other thing, I guess, I read a little bit, but you can even hear it there. And so, Rob, correct me if I'm wrong on this, but a lot of that early music was stuff that you had been carrying with you and kind of made part of that first iteration of the band. But after that first one, so you have like an EP that comes out called Better Off, and it starts to become a little bit more about what the band brings to the table. So it becomes a little bit more of the diversity of everyone else's musicality and instrumentation and their expertise. If I have that right, just let me know.
Yeah, that's I mean, really that's how we get our sound as it stands now. I mean, everybody's kind of contribution there. A lot of the early stuff, you know, the Midnight Feelings album, a good portion of that were songs I had already kind of pre-written or decided what they would sound like, you know, et cetera. And then when we got into Better Off, it was pretty much a full on, you know, collaboration between, you know, the four or five of us kind of just getting in the room together, demoing it out and creating, you know, what we liked, what sounded good, and everybody brought their, you know, respective parts and pieces to the table, and you know, we went from there.
Sure, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so John, as you were kind of watching that happen, how did that kind of ring true with you?
I mean, that was the point where I started to really love this band because, originally it was just like all these songs that Rob had written by himself, and they're kind of like singer-songwriters, you know, style.
Sure.
And then we just added instrumentation around what he had written. So it was really exciting to kind of start from scratch. And then, you know, during the process, then we have a little more creative control to be like, oh, well, how about this section here? I think we could, this might be a really nice section for violin here. And then, you know, push that verse back or whatever. So yeah, it was really cool to do it all together.
Yeah, I can totally see that. And then in the midst of all that, and again, I hesitate to ask questions that are like so basic for other interviews, but like you're in the midst of the pandemic here. So like, I got to think that that's intimidating or scary or whatever. Like, you know, there's got to be something going on there where you're like, wow, like there's this big giant global thing going on and we're trying to start something.
Yeah, that was interesting for sure. We released Better Off EP March 27th of 2020. So pretty much right
when it all kicked out. Yeah.
We had
that's good timing.
Exactly. You know, we had a release, you know, run of tour dates set up and everything ready to go, and that kind of all got trashed. But it was good overall. I think the pandemic era allowed us to really sit back and really hone in on what we were trying to create. You know, we were quiet from the public side of everything, but we were together kind of working a lot through that whole period.
Yeah, I got to think that, you know, you either band together or you move on. Like it seems like you guys really tightened up in that time frame.
Yeah, that was a game
Yep.
changer for us for sure. hmm Kind of just working on new songs, practicing a lot, changing the way we're rehearsing or even performing, those kind of things. Really just taking extra time to strategize and stuff like that.
Yeah, and then you have this newer music that's coming out now that just continues to amplify this same kind of sound that you have going on. Back in July of this year, Everyone's Happy and Moving On comes out.
Yeah, that was that's a really proud release for me, just in general. I think for all of us, I can speak on that one. Just all of that time working and creating, the last year and a half, putting these songs together, and we just tried to make sure that we, really thought about every aspect that we could, and went into it fully planned out, and yeah, it was a important release for sure
Sure.
for me. Yeah.
Yeah. And there, like you had talked about before we came on, like there's just some incredible again, music and songwriting and such on those it's 6 tracks, correct?
Five. Yeah.
And
Mhm.
so in there is just like stuff that people should definitely check out, because it's just it's this same kind of sound, but just that continued maturation and development of the overall kind of Darling Sons offering.
Yeah. I think for us, dynamics are a huge thing, and we really kind of leaned into that, and really played with the songs as a whole, and crafted them in that way. So
Your
Yeah.
note about dynamics was exactly what I was going to bring up. This, I think, compared to the stuff that you were referring to, is the earlier material. That was the thing that, for me, sort of was the shine on this
Sure.
release, was the dynamics. I think the production on it is a bit richer too. I think you guys may have had time to think
Mhm.
about how you were going to approach that.
Yeah, definitely a different production process with this one and the singles that we put out prior. It was, we had some help from a producer, Jake Ryan in Adrian, Michigan, and he kind of, just really took his time with us, helped us kind of fully develop the ideas that we had, and make them become, come to fruition, and come together, and always sound amazing. He's phenomenal.
Is there any song in particular that you would want to highlight? Like if there's something out there that you would want somebody to say, hey, if you want to embrace the Darling Sons and you want to hear what we're all about, it's this one, and why?
For me, I would say "Under the Sun," our newest song, "Under the Sun," on the latest release. Mainly because that song, I've been carrying uh, main riff idea of that for a long time, and I've always wanted to make a song out of it, and we've tried, and this is the group that was able to kind of put it together when I re brought out that idea, and it really kind of, each person has like really amazing parts in that song, in my opinion, and it just kind of blossoms really nice. It kind of showcases exactly our whole setup, or whatever you want to call it.
Sure.
Yeah.
John, do you have a different answer?
I don't know. That's a tough one for me. I would probably Under the Sun is like the best representation of the band, but my personal favorite on the new EP is Into the Night, because that one's a little more up tempo and driving, and that's something I've always loved. In the it's always good to have one of those tracks on a record that just like pushes, and yeah,
For sure.
So I guess I'll go with that one. But
And
officially, maybe Under the Sun.
but Into the Night, I guess when you listen to that one, it has, like, for me, I'm more listening to the music first and lyrics way afterwards. But you guys have some deeper lyrics, and that one seems to be about some struggle on Into the Night.
Yeah, definitely. That's like that's a good common theme in a lot of these, for sure.
Struggle is a common theme.
Yeah, for sure. No, that one definitely is a kind of a heartbreak, not even a heartbreak one, just like a tough one. It's
Sure.
one of those, definitely one of those ones that I was pulling from some dark moments in. But I love that song. That's a great one. I love to play that one. I love what became of that one. It was really natural, actually, with that song. So.
And Zach, do you have a song that you think represents things? Probably the wicked bass solo.
Well, yeah, we do love that, the hidden track, the bass solo track.
Yeah.
I don't know, the tune that speaks to me for this band, I love the 5 that we just put out, but there's a tune called Malaise that we released as a single.
Yeah.
Not too long ago. And it's a moody tune, man. And I love that it grooves and that it's just so different from what I expected to hear from this band.
Oh, that's cool to hear. Like, especially
I like that track quite a bit too. It's just, and for that reason, because it is a dynamic against what sort of is already out there. It doesn't sound different in the sense it doesn't sound like that what this band could do. It just sounds like an extension that's a little different.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Malaise is in that Vital 3 we were talking about at the beginning. That's one of the ones we put in there.
Yeah, that's great.
Cool. And Charlie, do you have a song that you think represents the Darling Sons the most?
With all of the above, somewhere in between everything they mentioned, because I agree with all of that. But there's a lot of good stuff coming through I'm always looking ahead and thinking of what new ideas we have. So excited about that stuff.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So why don't I take a moment here to play a little bit more from you all? And here's the funny part is the next song I'm about to play is none of the ones we just mentioned, but yet might be, I don't know what the right way to put this is, like the most radio friendly. I don't know if that's the right way to put it, but Afterglow, I think, is one of the songs that is, again, after seeing a show of yours, is the one they'd probably be humming to themselves the next day.
Sure.
I don't know if that's a fair assessment, but
no, yeah, definitely.
So I have it here, and this is a very cool thing too that we should probably talk to about afterwards. Is this recording? It must be a local, either PBS station or something that had you guys on in Chicago, where they had you play a couple of songs. But it's a very cool recording. So we're going to play here some Afterglow of the Darling Sons. The nice part here is it's all the right band members. I just think this is one of those songs where I just say, how is this not more popular? Like, and I think it also shows, John, you are a very kinetic performer. Like, there's a lot of movement going on. And again, unfortunately, if you're listening on the podcast, you can't watch this. So go to YouTube and watch this because it's fantastic. And this is, again, let's give Lindsey some pop here too, because that violin is just so great in these songs.
Yeah, it's a lovely addition. Yeah.
Oh, it's so great.
Lindsey's
but yeah, so there's Afterglow. Yeah. So anything to share with that song? I mean, like you shared earlier, like it is a little bit more earlier in the catalog, but it is such a killer song.
Yeah, I love that song. That's one of my favorite songs, actually. It's always a fun one to play. It always kind of gets it going. It came together really magically, actually. It was like a really interesting process with this one. But I remember talking to Charlie after a show we played at Bottom Lounge here in Chicago, and I was telling him the idea of this song, and I'll just never forget, just like like you said, just humming the kind of
Mhm.
chorus to it to him. And I got this song, and I think it was literally a few weeks later we got into the studio and we were like, let's write a little bit, and we took that out. There was like I think John, you were there, John, Charlie, me, and then our friend Tulio was on bass, and we kind of just tracked the whole thing, and we just played this song real quick and came together. And then when we recorded it, we literally we loved the demo so much, we just let's try to match up the recording as much to the demo as possible.
Sure.
And then add our little tasteful bits, but that was it. It was really great.
Well, you can't really there's those raw, just creative moments that you can't. If you polish it up, it would lose some of the magic, and so that must have been what happened there.
This one was, yeah. We set the fire alarm off in the studio when we were recording this song.
That's the hidden track, by the way.
That's
So just find the fire alarm for 8 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was great.
So yeah, I think that song's amazing, and it's the one that. So I was very interested to see you guys play at Musikfest because we have a Spotify playlist that comes out of all the free stages. And so we just play that from April or May or June when that comes out. And over and over again, just to kind of see who catches your ear. And so you were high on our list to go see. And that opening weekend, we go see you. And that was definitely the song that kind of captured that Musikfest magic moment. And the funny part is you were under, actually, I have a picture here. I didn't catch the first set that you guys did where you were under like a normal stage and a normal tent. I caught the second wave where you were at the Martin Guitar lyric plots, which people around here will know what that is. But so most people, I just put the picture up on the screen here. Most people, when they do that stage, will turn it into an acoustic set and put maybe one or two people up there. But no, you guys brought the whole band up and the whole kit and everything. And God bless you all for doing it, because I thought it was amazing. But for the most part, go ahead. Talk about that.
It was kind of a last minute decision. We were supposed to play that stage acoustically, but we saw someone else earlier playing it with the drum kit in there. So we were like, let's do it full band. So we did it full bands. And I don't know.
We're bringing the pyro.
I don't know if they got
going
mad
all
at us.
in.
Yeah, I don't know if they're mad at us for that, but it seemed like everyone enjoyed it. So
totally. And for me, it's like that's somebody who's super committed to. You got to hear the whole thing. So it really just on vision alone, I was totally all in, and then the sound was incredible. But Charlie, what was it like to play in that tiny little space?
Yeah, it was interesting. It was really interesting in comparison to the earlier set.
Yeah,
because the earlier set was, definitely a big festival stage, sound system, lots of power, lots of low end, and then that was totally different, where it was all high end echo in the tent and everything. But it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Oh,
yeah,
totally.
I think from the first snare hit, it was. I looked back at you and I was just like, okay.
But so this was brought up. So you were booked by a local high school, program that we have. And we had on during the week of Musikfest, the assistant superintendent of our Bethlehem area school district talked about the program. So there will be people out there listening who already know more about what this is, where there's two high schools that have this as a program where they learn how to research bands, book them, and bring them on, and then literally do it for real at Musikfest. And so you were one of those bands. So anything you can share about how that was from the position of a musician on getting booked by that whole process?
I thought it was great. I mean, to get reached out by somebody actively listening to our music or something like that and wanting us to come out and perform was I thought pretty special. So yeah, when we got to reach out, we were pretty all set to do it. We were down for it. It was a cool experience, and I really thought that was a cool thing that they're doing out there, in those classes. So yeah.
And then the other element to this is I have some video here of the song "Fine." So that's under that tent again, and so you've already kind of couched it a little bit about like the sound and stuff like that. But this particular song is a more recent, not the most recent, but is a more recent single for you all. Anything about this particular song?
John, you want to take this one?
Sure. So this is one that like I'll start to have like ideas for things. I write some of my own solo stuff, and so sometimes I'll get something that I'm working on, and I'm like, this could maybe be a Darling Sons tune. And then I'll kind of like whip up a quick demo of it, and I'll email it over to Rob, and what do you think? Do you think we could shape this? And this is one that I had just like recorded like a little bit, minute and a half, and sent it over to Rob, and he was like, "Oh, absolutely, we can do this one. we can work this one around." But yeah, this was I started this one pretty soon after the initial lockdown started. I was like, well, I'm gonna be at home, so I had bought a new microphone and then just tried to like sit down and learn some more about recording. And so I was just like in my room every day trying to like get better at recording and using microphones, and this is one of the songs that came out of that.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Rob.
No, I was just gonna say, yeah, I like this one from the second he sent it over, it was kind of like definite. We can do that. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sadly, I only have about a little over a minute of it. I wish I had grabbed more, but it's funny. With what I try and do, I'm trying to grab some things just for like Instagram, which is like can't go over a minute, and then other things where I'm like I want to just own it so that I can put it on a show or release it on something more large format for you all, even like to kind of share it with you all. But so like I did it and I stopped and I was like, why did I stop? But anyway, here's 1 minute of Fine. And I hit stop and I was like, why did I just do that? It's so good. It's so good. It really is. And that, again, all of the things you shared about the limited space, your guys are tight in there and it's not the best acoustics and not the best power. And you are just crushing life. And I just like, I wish I had seen that other set and like, I just can't wait to see you guys perform again in a great space.
The funny thing about that performance too is that John woke up maybe 5 minutes prior.
We had played
fully asleep in the van.
We had played the 2 p.m. set, and it was like 10 million degrees. I sweat straight.
That opening weekend was 10 million degrees exactly.
I was just reminded by that video. I was looking rough.
Yeah, you can tell in the video. Yeah.
Everyone looked like that. That's the first like 5 days of Musikfest is like it slowly bakes everyone down some.
Yep. Yeah. No, you guys looked amazing. Honestly, it looks like again, somebody should be. Why haven't I heard them before? Anyway, so go ahead. Sorry, I cut you off, John.
Oh no, that's all right. I was just gonna say, immediately after the first set, went back to the van, laid down, and just was out. And then next thing I know, we're loading up I wake up to them loading the amps and the drums in the van to move over to the next stage. And so that was like up, grab the cabinet, moving in the van, and right to it.
Yep. And then, you know, muscle memory kicks in from there, and you guys are just, honestly, like, the sound is great. I can't like deny, obviously, what that system did through like Bethlehem Area School District to book you all is obviously working, because it's capturing stuff like that to put it in front of, you know, people here at this festival. But you guys are performing all the time, obviously, out in Chicago. You guys talked about that you're coming out this way again, because you have done the East Coast tours all the time. So like, this is definitely something where people can capture, you know, what's going on for you all, you know, in the future.
Yeah, we definitely try to get out as much as possible. I mean, just connect with as many people on the road and play as many shows as possible. In October, we'll be, you know, back in Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh on October 21st, and then Philadelphia on the 22nd. So we're looking forward to being out there and, you know, playing some more music, having fun.
Absolutely. Oh, I had one more funny thing to share. So each day of Musikfest, one of the things that we do for your next favorite band is we post like our pics of the plots. And so it looks like this, you know, it basically is something we put out on Instagram or what have you. And you can see the Darling Sons are up top there with both of their sets for the day. And so you guys were gracious enough to engage, obviously reposted it, said thank you, whatever, which led to us doing this interview. But later on that same day,
oh man,
this is amazing. I suddenly look at my phone and it says, "Oh, Darling Sons have added you to their story," and I find this, and it's basically. So for those of you listening, the image of the daily pics of the plots is slid over to the left, and then there's a bunch of gibberish.
The secret message,
and there's definitely a secret message there.
So our van broke down that next morning.
Oh no!
Yes, no. Our van broke down as we were on our way to New York for our set in New York, and you know, just in quite the fury of running around and trying to figure things out, my pocket just posting Instagram stories. So shame and embarrassment after I saw those posted on there. They were definitely seen by a fair amount of people.
That's fantastic.
Them. And yeah, so
for all of those out there in the fan club, right, the decoder is Z1.
Yeah.
No,
exactly.
To me, it was hilarious that not only did you slide the image over and type things, but then posted it. Like that's impressive. That's impressive pocket dialing right there.
It's got some tricky pockets.
Yeah. They were doing their thing.
Anyway, I was just glad I snagged a copy of that and we had this moment to reminisce about that.
Yeah, I'm glad.
Rob is so proud of remembering that.
Yes, exactly. Right now he's going, why did that come up in this interview?
Well, it was just like, it was kicking me while I was down because we were already like broken down van. We were in our rental car or something, and I saw this and I was like, oh, come on. Like,
that's actually the curse words that were being said.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
it's probably true.
Exactly.
But from my side, it was not. There was no kick intended. It was more just that's hilarious.
No, yeah, all funny. No, we're lighthearted. That was funny.
But let's just loop quickly back to these promotions. So you're playing shows near Pittsburgh. You're doing one here in Philly. Yes. That's not yet on the site yet, but you're saying October 22nd, there's going to be a show here in Philly.
Yes. So we're expected to stop October 22nd. I won't give too much detail just because I'm locking it in, but hoping in the next week and a half we'll have all that posted on our socials and our sites and everything like that.
Very cool. And then you obviously have stuff going on in Chicago a good bit. There's something going on in Berwyn.
Yes. We'll be at Fitzgerald's in Berwyn. I think that's November 10th. That'll be fun. We're with our friends, Brother Elsie. They're a good group of dudes, and Oliver Hazard. So it's going to be a good show.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And then is there like obviously more music cooking up and other things for the fall and winter?
Yeah, this is kind of where we're at, just kind of writing, demoing, trying to kind of still push our latest release, get that stuff out there as much as possible still. But yeah, we're definitely writing. We're definitely working on the next project. See what we want to do. So kind of, beginning stages of that.
Very cool. Look at that little teaser for people out there looking for more Darling Sons.
Yeah, definitely more coming. We're not done yet. So
awesome. Yeah. Well, thank you all so much for joining us today. Thank you, Rob.
Absolutely.
Thank you, John. Thank you, Zach.
Thank you for having us,
Charlie.
Yeah.
And Charlie. And to Lindsay, she wasn't here, but can't forget her. She's such a vital part of things. But we will, definitely look forward to, seeing you perform nearby, whenever you guys do, and wish you all the best in all of this effort. Really can't say enough about the sound of the band. Really love it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Yeah. So, David.
Philip.
Yet another favorite band.
One more for the books.
One more for the books. Hopefully a returning favorite for next year's Musikfest. Like I said, that Martin Guitar Stage is great, but did not do them justice.
No, I wish we would have seen them on the bigger stage, but timing is what it is.
It is. That's the blessing and the curse of Musikfest is there's so much going on that some overlap happens and you got to, kind of split yourself into three to be able to see everything.
Which is really no problem normally. But,
correct.
During early August, it's not possible.
Anyway, thank you so much, David. And let's say goodbye.
Goodbye.
All right, Phil, let's say goodbye to everybody.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Your Next Favorite Band. We'd like to sincerely thank the Darling Sons, which include Robert Krause, Charlie Dresser, John Stenger, Zachary Kidder, and Lindsey Ward. And we hope you guys can catch them at a local show some point in the quick future, or just simply support them in any ways that you possibly can by following them on social media, checking out their music on wherever you get it streamed, purchase it, or more importantly, buy merch directly from them. T-shirts, vinyl, CDs, whatever it is that can really help them kind of take things to the next level. Links in the show notes here for all of the band's websites and their YouTube channels, Spotify channels, and all that good stuff, as always. Our hope here is to bring you your next favorite band. And if you happen to already know the Darling Sons, thank you so much for tuning in. But either way, we hope you subscribe, like, follow, and join us every week, every Tuesday. Here we are, 6:30, looking to bring you either people you know or people you don't quite yet. And then follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and all that stuff to keep up as well. And would also like to thank Carver Commodore, Argonaut and Wasp, and Blair Crimmins for letting us use the music here in the close. Hope to see you at a live show soon.
It's all over now.